Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tracy and I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. It was so nice to spend it with my loved ones and we got to make homemade tamales and they were delicious. For this week's video, I'm just going to be showing you guys how to thread a serger and how to use it. A serger is great because it allows your knits to stretch and it's just really easy to sew with. For a beginner, I definitely recommend like any Brother or Juki brand, and there are some inexpensive ones. I believe this Elna was around $200. I'm not really sure, but if I find it, I'll link it below. This was the very first serger I used, so it's very beginner friendly. If you want a really high quality serger, I definitely recommend any Babylock. The serger I have in New York is a Babylock Eclipse, and it is amazing. It's definitely made my life so much easier, mostly because it has jet air threading, which is awesome because the machine threads itself. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This is my serger. There's a few parts to go over. So on a serger, you have your stitch width dial, which is on the right, and the bottom is your differential feed. You have your lower looper, upper looper, right needle, and left needle tension dials on the front of your machine. And you have guides at the top to thread your thread. And if you open up your serger at the bottom, you'll see that you have a diagram that is color-coded on how to thread your machine properly. On the bottom right, you usually have your power switch and you have your cord that is connected to your foot pedal and outlet. On the back of your serger, you have a place to put your thread spools, and you need the cones for a serger because they do use a lot of thread. And you have an adjustable bar to just adjust the height of your thread, so you just want to feed it through those little holes for each spool. And you want to start threading your machine from left to right. Before threading, set your tension dials to 0. First, you want to place your thread down that left hole and then towards the right, up and over, and then down. And you just want to hook it right into that right side hook and down and up the tension dial and over the hook. So everything's color coded, as you can see in the diagram. I continue following the color codes for the lower looper, and after I thread through those first 3 hooks, you want to just turn your balance wheel towards you until your needles are in the down position. Take that thread, I just want to bring the thread to the other side, and you can see there's a little color coded circle that you need to thread that thread through on the bottom, and you can see it right there. So I'm just threading that through, and the tweezers really help. So you want to just thread about like an inch or 2, because when you turn the balance wheel towards you again, it's going to bring it to the opposite side like so, and you can see the thread is sticking out right there. And you just want to grab it, just thread through that little hole right there, and you finish threading your lower looper. Now it's time to thread your upper looper. So you want to take your thread and just loop it down the left hole and up and over down the right into the hook and around upper looper tension dial and down the hook into that hook and the bottom hook as well into this hook at the very top, and through that bar at the top there's a little hole like that, and you just want to bring the thread to the back, and your upper looper thread is just going to go above that thread. So you just want to place your lower looper thread above and over, and now you can just close the bottom parts of the serger, and we're going to thread the left and right needle now. So we're going to start with the right needle, and you just want to follow the same steps as the previous ones. Threading the needles is the easiest part of threading this machine. On the right needle, you're just going to go into the right hook, and there's another hook underneath it, and then you just want to thread from front to back, and just repeat this to the left needle. Place all your threads under the presser foot, and you want to turn your machine on. I set the tension in between 3 or 4, and I ended up figuring out that 4 was the best for this machine. So I recommend a 4 tension, and then you can just start chaining. So just press on your pedal and it'll start chaining, and you have a blade on the left side of this machine. For non-stretch fabrics, I like to have my stitch length at 3 and my differential feed at 1.5. For practice and just to test my tension and stitch length, I take 1 layer of fabric, and you don't have to lift your presser foot up. You can just lift the top part of the foot and place your fabric underneath, and those little tick marks on the side of the machine are just how much you want to cut off with your blade. So it's really nice because it cuts the edge of the fabric. It leaves really nice seams on the inside of a garment. You can sew a seam with a serger, so you can use woven fabric or stretch fabric. And I just place right sides together and I just start serging, and it's that easy, and your fabric is cut so it's a really nice finish on the inside, and you end up with like a 1/4 inch seam, so when you open your fabric you can't even see the stitches, and it's still really nice and strong. I'm taking stretchy fabric and just placing right sides together. I'm changing my differential feed to 1.25 just so it's a little tighter for stretchy fabric, and then I'm just serging it. As you can see, when you serge stretchy fabric, it allows you to stretch and the stitch won't rip. And it's a lot faster to gather fabric with the serger, so change your differential feed to 2.5 and just serge your fabric at the very edge, and you can see that it's kind of gathering already, but it's not very prominent. So you just want to take a needle and just pull those 2 top threads. Pull those 2 top threads, and then you just can pull on them, and you can see that you can just gather your fabric as much as you desire, and you get a really nice gather. For a 3-thread serge, you just remove 1 needle. So if you remove the right needle, you get a wider 3-thread serge, and if you remove the left needle, you get a narrower 3-thread serge. And I'm just going to remove the left one so I can show you the narrow serge. I unthread the left needle, and now I just have 3 threads that are currently going to work. So then I just start chaining to make sure everything's fine, and it is. And now I'm just taking my scrap fabric and just serging 1 layer of fabric. As you can see, the 4-thread serge is wider and you have 4 threads, and this one is only 3, so it's a lot narrower. For a rolled hem, you want to just open the bottom part of the serger, and you want to just push on that knob, and this controls the blade. So you want to turn it and bring it all the way down, and it's going to lock. And then you want to push on the white, and that's going to control the width of your blade, and you just want to push it all the way to R, which means rolled hem, and then you can push and bring your blade back up. I close the bottom compartments, and next I'm just changing the lower looper tension to 8 and the stitch length to R for rolled hem, and just chaining to get it started. I'm taking my woven fabric and just feeding it through, and you can see you get a really nice rolled hem finish. So this is a nice finish for any fabric. This is a faster way to hem a garment versus doing a baby hem on a regular sewing machine. And I prefer to use this for a lettuce hem, so I'm changing the upper looper to an 8 and the lower looper to an 8.5. And this is for my stretch fabric, so I want a lettuce hem, and you want to just place your stretch fabric and stretch it at the front and the back as you feed it through. You get a really nice lettuce hem, and I just love this finish on stretch fabrics. My favorite finish on a serger is a flat lock seam, so start by removing your right needle. Set your tension to 0 on your left needle and 3 on your upper looper, and set your lower looper to 7. And open your bottom compartment. You want to just put your blade down in the locked position, push the white knob, and change it back to S, which is standard. Set your stitch length at 3 and make sure your differential feed is at 1.5. Next, take 2 pieces of fabric and place wrong sides together. Make sure you have a straight edge because the blade is down so it's not cutting any excess off. After serging that, you want to just open that piece up and slowly pull. Just pull it open and you can see that the inside has straight lines across and the fabric is just in between and it's pretty much locked, so it's like a flat seam and you just get a really cool effect. It's best to do this stitch with different colored thread just so you get a really cool exposed finish on the outside of your garment.